Wow. This is Vikings Ventline.
Do you like that? Do you like that?
Do you like that, Vikings fans? An overtime victory. Minnesota Vikings in New Orleans. They get the job done. Phil Mackey, Judd Zulgad, and we are live on Score North on AM 1500, the Score North app, also live streaming on Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch right now. And we had been talking about this the week leading up to the game. This had the potential to be one of the great recent sports trilogies, right? You get all these boxing trilogies throughout the history of the last 50 to 100 years, right?
Right.
The Saints-Vikings trilogy started with the 2009 NFC Championship game. The Minneapolis Miracle was fight number 2. And I think fight number 3, even though it was a first-round matchup and not an NFC Championship game matchup, I think you had two teams throwing haymakers the entire day, two coaches throwing haymakers. And who would have thought that it was Kirk Cousins, not Drew Brees, that would throw the final haymaker, a dime to Adam Thielen on the doorstep of the goal line, Judd Zulgad, to set up the game-winning touchdown.
By the way, you called.
I did call it.
You said, go deep here, just go deep. And he threw a beautiful pass. And I'll say this, where do we even start with this game? Where do you even start? I'd like to say that as impressive as the offense going down the field to score the touchdown that ultimately put an end to the game in the first possession by the Vikings of overtime, the one thing, and we talked about this all week long, the one thing, and I know they gave up the field goal at the end of regulation to tie the score, Phil Mackey, but this was truly the defensive game plan of Mike Zimmer's life. Like, this is no joke here. This was that game plan to stop that team. And now Drew Brees was not great, but Drew Brees might not have been great because of that game plan. Yeah, because
Danielle Hunter was haunting him for 3 hours.
No Alexander, no Hughes, yes on Rhodes, who plays hurt and gives up a touchdown and ultimately continued to play hurt and played well at times. But I can't emphasize enough how impressed I am by the fact that this team came out defensively in that building and was this good. And the other thing is, you know what we finally saw? This was the intestinal fortitude from the Vikings that I don't think until today, in 2019, we had seen from this team.
Yeah, they checked every box that you've been waiting for them to check for 2 years today.
Yeah.
Road, Cousins stepping up late, right? Winning opponent, all these different things. They were 8-point underdogs with a lot of the different sports books, and we have full phone lines right now. I'm Phil Mackey. That's Judd Zulgad, and we are here for you as long as you want to call. We're coming off this high just like you are, watching one of the great football games of the last few years. Every time these two teams tango in the playoffs, something big happens, and it swung the way of the Vikings today because they made it swing that way. 651-646-8255. Let's start out here with Dave in South Carolina. What's going on, Dave?
Going forward. Guys, I'm going to tell you, I could not sit down. I think I've called you and I've told you about their defense all year. Yeah, I thought we could move the ball on them. And, I'm just so proud and so proud. I'm just so proud for the players and past players, fans. I just think it's a wonderful win, guys. You guys are great with the show. I love it. I can barely talk. I'm going out to a celebratory dinner, and I'm getting a bunch of phone calls in between, so I apologize. But I just think this is the kind of win, hopefully that maybe puts them, on a track. And I feel good about, where we're going. I've always felt good about our talent and our depth. And a win like this gives you so much confidence, And I still think there were some play calling issues. I'm going to be very critical all the time. But what a defensive performance, and just what a job, guys. I love the show, and love you guys. Skol Vikings.
Thanks, Dave. That's one of our, appreciate the phone call. Talk to you tomorrow for sure.
One of our favorite callers there, David, South Carolina. Let's just roll through some calls here, Judd, because I think there's a lot of excited Vikings fans. As soon as the lines are full, but as soon as someone drops off, so we have one open phone line now. Here's the number, 651-646-8255. And if you're new to Score North, if you're just discovering us, thank you for listening or watching. I'm Phil Mackey. That's Judd Zulgad. And we have a free mobile app that you can listen to us live throughout the week. You can listen to all of our podcasts, Purple Daily, Vikings Ventline, Mackey and Judd with Rami, Score North Live. And you can also read articles from Matthew Collar, who's out there in New Orleans right now, Judd Zulgad, Danny Cunningham, Derek Wetmore. So thank you all. Let's go to Ben in Florida. You are on Ventline, Ben.
Hey guys, we beat on Kirk Cousins. We beat on Mike Zimmer. I'm gonna tell you something. Those two are the MVPs of this game. That defensive performance and the last two throws to Keelan and Rudolph is why why the Vikings are paying Kirk Cousins all that money to make those two throws in that situation. And for Kirk Cousins, I know he has to have just a weight off his shoulders after this win. He has to feel so good about himself. The defense, I mean, you can't say enough. When you make Taysom Hill a gadget player, the best player on the high-powered offense, you're doing something right on defense. So, I mean, I don't know if they're going to win in San Francisco, but I feel a hell of a lot more confident that they can win in San Francisco now after that game. Because now you're playing a okay quarterback or good quarterback, not a all-time great quarterback. So let's just go to San Francisco, man. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, thanks for the phone call, Ben. I mean, to Kirk Cousins for a second, in the biggest game of his life, in one of the toughest environments of his career, on the biggest drive of his life, in overtime, he drops back and throws a perfect 40-yard pass right into the hands of Adam Thielen to basically end the game. And then on third down, if you don't score a touchdown on third down, you're probably forced to kick a field goal on fourth down because you need to get the points so that you force them to score, right? He throws a perfect fade to the back corner of the end zone to Kyle Rudolph. Two of the best passes in the most pressure-packed moments of his entire life.
Absolutely. And two throws that he can consistently make. And the deep pass to Thielen as well, two things off of that. One is, amen, it's a great play call, but that's one of his best passes. Like if you were to say, rate Kirk Cousins' top three passes, I would say the last one on my list would probably be the screen. My top one, that deep pass. He's got that touch. That's him. The second thing that was incredibly important today, and it's twofold, Thielen and Cook were healthy.
Yeah.
And that means that Cook can't be ignored. The run game, play action works, and now teams are concerned about that. If you think about the ingredients offensively that go into that win today, you basically, for the first time since October, correct, had all of your weapons as healthy as they can possibly be.
Yeah.
And that's huge. Cook didn't have a great second half, but what Cook did was he had a great first half, and he presented a threat that hadn't been there for the last 2 games or 3 games or 4 games, basically. And so I think all of those things go into the toolbox that presents Cousins with the opportunity to succeed.
Yeah, the final tallies for the Vikings offense, and Dalvin Cook started really hot, and then they grinded him down, and it was more run for show. And by the way, it worked because that play action sucked everybody in, and Adam Thielen got a step on defenders. But the Vikings wound up running the ball 40 times for 136 yards, so only 3.5 yards a carry, but they just grinded for 3 hours in this one. Let's go back to the phone lines here on Vikings Ventline. David in Minneapolis. Vikings win, David.
Yeah, I'm you Vike that on Twitter, and for the first time in the year that I've had my Twitter account, I do Vike that, and I'm really happy with what Kirk Cousins did this tonight, and I just think that silences the whole Mike Zimmer going to Dallas thing, and because the defense played a miraculous game against a really good Saints game, really good Saints team, and I just really think that we have a chance against the 49ers. And this is not what I expected today, and I'm just really happy for what happened. So I'll leave it at that. I'll listen to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You Vike that, David, on Twitter.
So I expected a close game from Phil, let's say last Tuesday through Friday morning. And then we got the injury report. Alexander out, Hughes out. And I thought to myself, how are you going to stop? And I'll come back to it, Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
And the answer was basically fluster Drew Brees. But I still would have said, oh, good luck with that. But taking Hunter and Griffin, sticking them inside, we could do an entire show on the defense and not just the execution from that defense, but the game plan.
Down 2 rotational, 1 starting cornerback, or sometimes 2 starting quarterbacks, but 2 rotation cornerbacks in that game. And Mike Zimmer's he's running Anthony Barr on Michael Thomas.
Yes.
He's running 3 safety looks in the nickel package. He's running, like you said, the 2 edge rushers on the inside.
And Daniil Hunter, the strip of Drew Brees.
Yeah.
will go down as one of the most important Vikings playoff moments in recent times.
Like, and think like most strip sacks are
they were going to score.
You come around, you bat the ball out of his hand, right? He's so strong. He grabs Drew Brees with his left arm, grabs Drew Brees' left arm with his left arm, comes around his back and hits Drew Brees' triceps so hard the ball pops out.
He ragdolled him.
Yeah.
Like he looked like a lifeless doll of some sort.
It was unbelievable.
Yep.
John in Manhattan, you're on Ventline.
John.
Give me the horn, Bobby. There we go. I called in and I said to Judd, they're going to lose. And then he said, that sounds like you. And then I called in and I said, no. I saw the Gophers take down Auburn. You know what? It's in the air, boys. And he said, John, you sound drunk. And I am not drunk. I live that Roycey life. And I tell you what. Now, I got a segment for you because Randy does the stud stable. I got the who basket, Cam Jordan, who, Drew Brees, who, Michael Thomas, who, Daniil Hunter, that boy. You like that? You like that? That was a fun game. I loved it.
It was.
I loved it so much.
Amazing. John, thank you for calling.
Talk to you tomorrow, John.
I got one more thing.
Fire away.
Jeff in Boston says, check the tape. He was right before all y'all haters. And this team ain't going with this. Mike Zimmer ain't going nowhere. The team's going to the Super Bowl. Let's go.